Alright, so I'm back, and we're back in the car. I want to do a rant of the week. And sorry I'm at a weird angle. I'm trying to prop the camera so it doesn't keep flopping over and I don't have to hold it the whole time. Because it's really awkward to try and hold a camera while driving. I don't have like a dashboard cam. I wish I did. That would be kind of cool. But sounds like a lot of work to me. So anyway, rant of the week this week is going to be scale again, but this time primarily I'm focused on combinder scale and the issues that I have with some of the scale. A lot of people are saying like, oh well, Mastermind Creation scales well in Masterpiece scale, whereas Unique Toys scales in Classic scale. In the robot modes, maybe. In their combined mode, no, not at all. I mean, not even close. Let's take in for a quick account. In the episode Chaos, where Predicate was around, he was big enough to pick up 3 full-size Transformers in his hands. 3 Transformers at the same time in his hands. Okay. So that makes him very big. None of the combiners that are out there, even G1 Predicate, are work in that scale, unless maybe you go with Legends scale. That's the only time I would say he's probably about accurate. Now, also in that episode, another thing I want to point out is while in that episode, there's a scene when they're attacking Cup, and it's just Razorclaw and Rampage, and they're attacking Cup, and it's very clear in that scene that Cup is bigger than either one of the cats. The cats are about the same size of each other, which is about accurate with the toys. But Cup is bigger than both of them, or one of them. So the 2 of them were able to fight Cup, but one-on-one, he'd be bigger and stronger. But in a later episode, I believe it's called Nightmare Planet, when Springer, the very popular scene when Springer rides Razorclaw, he's about the size of a horse, but Springer's bigger than Cup. So you see, I hope you're kind of seeing where I'm going with this. It does not work in that scale. There's no way to make that work. When you got 2 Autobots, one that's clearly bigger than the other, and the cats are smaller than the smaller one, but big enough that the bigger one can ride like a horse. That makes no sense whatsoever. There's other issues I'll bring up, like in the episode Chaos in C Minor, when you've got Hotspot standing next to Defensor, which he's the core bot for Defensor, which is kind of a head scratcher on its own. But he's almost as tall as Defensor, and also pretty much the whole episode Defensor is pretty small. I mean, and that just doesn't work. Some episodes you'll see Superion as big as any of the other combiners. Other episodes he's just a little bit taller than Ultra Magnus, and I don't think Superion was supposed to be just a little taller than Ultra Magnus. But those could be considered animation errors as opposed to scale errors. Now, let's see. And here's a real fun one. This is going to be the one that makes you go, what? This is going to make your head spin. Totally, what the fuck kind of idea. Okay. Astro Train. He's the Decepticon transport. Okay. And, give it given that, we're going into the size shifting thing, where he was big enough to hold, a set of Decepticon troops inside of his shuttle mode. Okay. Alright, we're going into the size shifting. That's okay. Now, my question is, do they control their size shifting, or do they just shift to the size of their old mode? Because, in some episodes he seems a little bit bigger than others because of the types of troops he's holding. For example, well, first off, before we get into the example, let's talk about his scale with Omega Supreme. Now, Omega Supreme, no question about it, he's one of the biggest Autobots, right up there with Skyfire, Metroplex, and Fortress Maximus. I'm not saying he's as big, but he's in that, he's a big bot scale. Anyway, so we take him versus Astrotrain in this one episode, where Astrotrain's flying around and, being cocky, saying that he's superior, because he does have a superior shuttle mode. There's no question there. His shuttle mode is far superior to Ultra Magnus. Or not Ultra Magnus, Omega Supreme. At which point, Omega Supreme just transforms into robot mode, grabs him in his hand, grabs the shuttle in his hand, and throws him. So Astrotrain in shuttle mode can fit in Omega Supreme's claw hand. When Omega Supreme, one of the first episodes with him, where he goes into why he hates the Constructicons so much, you see him fight Devastator, and you see that he's about, Devastator comes up to about here on him. Okay? Now, in the animated movie, I think you guys are probably seeing where I'm going with this now. In the animated movie, the Constructicons were able to combine inside Astrotrain. So by that scale, Devastator should fit in the palm of Omega Supreme's hand and not in, be as tall as he is in comparison. So think about that real quick. So unless everybody shrinks down when they go into Astrotrain, there's no way. And then, if they do shrink down, then comes up the question of, well, then why did he have to jettison weight? Everybody's lighter. Everybody's smaller. I mean, just something in that thought process just is not right. Now, regardless of how big the Bruticus that Warbotron is doing, regardless of how big he's going to be, the biggest problem was the fact that he's not going to be big enough to fit into classic scale. And I'm talking classic Seeker scale. Because in his first episode, Starscream was able to sit on his shoulder. And he was able to hold Megatron in his hand. And an episode later, he was able to hold Shockwave in gun mode, which does not size shift. He was able to hold that in his hand. He was able to hold Shockwave in his hand and use him as a gun. Okay. The only way, and given the Shockwave and Megatron should be about Voyager class, maybe a little bit bigger. But not, they're around the Voyager class, like Hegemon. If you put them in that size scale, the only thing that's going to be big enough to hold them is your average human. So, on that thought, I am in scale to be a combiner in classic size. That's the only way a combiner would work. Then, let's, just while we're on the topic of, things that we will never have, and one of them being a actual cartoon accurate combined scale robot. So imagine how much it would cost to get a third party or even official Hasbro figure that is my size. That is just humongous. The cost on that would just be astronomical. I don't even want to think about that. Okay, but that's a combiner. That's a combiner robot. So how big do you think Metroplex would be? So there's another episode, or there's a picture on TF Wiki where you see Metroplex having Unicron and Galvatron and Ultra Magnus fighting on his shoulder. Okay. So, given that he would be about, those guys, a little bit bigger than the Seeker mold. That would mean that he would have to be, big enough to fit two robots on his shoulder, as opposed to one, like Combiner. You'd probably have to be twice my size, not twice my height. Not just twice my height, but twice my size altogether. He'd be, twice as tall, twice as wide, twice as weight, something like that. You'd have to be a lot bigger. So we're talking about a 12-foot individual now. That would be in Metroplex scale. Now, let's talk Unicron for a second on the scale. Hot Rod was able to fly a ship full of Autobots, the little Quintesson ship, through his eye. So in classic scale, you put a bunch of them together, let's say like a big tub. That would be resembling the ship for a moment. Okay, so how big would he be to accommodate, something, say about 2 feet wide, 2 feet tall, in order to fit that ship in to go through his eye? And the closest thing I can think of is, go out to your car real quick, look at your driver's side window. That's about what we're looking for. That would be in scale with classics, the size of Unicron's eyeball. The surface of his eye would be the size of an average car window. So now imagine a head. Excuse me. Now imagine a head that can accommodate, two of those in scale to be an eye. We're talking something, something the size of a large car. Look at an average car, and the front side window and driver's side and rear window would be about what his eyes would be. But that's not the same size of his head. Your eyes are right in the middle of your head. So you'd probably need another car on top of it, of the original car, and another car below it, to make that head. So three cars stacked on top of each other would be approximately the size of Unicron's head. Now try and guesstimate how big of a body he would have to have in order to accommodate that size of a head. And then, just think of the size of that figure. That's something we would never see. So what I'm saying is that, there's really no way to make these things work in an accurate scale. Even if you go to Legends size, that would be approximately right for the MMC predicate. That would be about in that right scale. The Metroplex figure is about right for that scale. Maybe he's just needs to be a little bit bigger. And then the Unicron would still be bigger than me, because again, I can't fit a Legends Transformer through my eye. I mean, maybe like one of those little tiny bumblebees I could shove in my eye socket. Maybe, but in the movie it was a spaceship full of them that flew through his eye. So again, we're talking about something that would be a lot bigger. Again, it wouldn't have to be the size of a car window to accommodate something like that, but we're talking about something close to it. So yeah, there you go. There's my rant. There's just really no way whatsoever to make these combiners in the appropriate scale that they're supposed to be in the cartoon. Now, I was always fine with the toys saying, oh, well, they all combined together. Like in Beast Wars, that was the first actual full combiner I ever got, was Trooperdigus from the Beast Wars. And they're all, they were almost deluxe sized troops, and they'd combine together to form an ultra size. And an ultra size figure was generally reserved for the leader figures like Optimus and Megatron. So, all of a sudden you got another troop that's a size as big as them that could terrorize all the little troops. So, yeah, he's not as big as, Combiner in the G1 cartoon. In comparison, things are coming up about his waist, maybe a little bit smaller than that, but it's still big enough to tear through the ranks of the Maximals. So I'm not saying that I'm disagreeing with the size of the figures. I'm just disagreeing with the idea that they're in scale in combined mode with anybody else, because they're not. Unless you're going on the toy scale, at which point a Superion shouldn't be any bigger than Optimus Prime, because he really wasn't all that much bigger. So we're talking Hasbro's Energon combiners are actually the closest thing to scale that we would get. Even then, those guys are a little bit too big. We're probably talking more along the lines of Power Core combiners put together. Like the Fallen. That's a great example. The MMC Fallen. If his arms and legs were individual robots, he would actually be in the original G1 toy scale accurate to the Optimus Prime figure of today. So even there, we're getting into the, well, they're not big enough to fight the leader class figures, the big guys. So what are your thoughts? That's my question today. What are your thoughts on all that? I know it was an odd rant, but see how I feel here in a minute after I get done with Walmart. Maybe I'll take you guys on a little sightseeing trip. Alright, so I'm back, and I decided I'm going to take the long way home, because I wanted to show you guys, one of the few great things about living where I live. Colorado kind of sucks when it comes to collecting Transformers, because we always seem to get things after everybody else. Very rarely do I see us getting early release on something. I live further into the mountains, so I live 40 minutes away from the nearest Target, or Toys R Us and stuff like that. So it's like it takes a while to get places, which is very unfortunate. And again, sorry about the angle of the camera. That's the best I can do to do it without hands. But one of the best things about where I live is from where I currently live. I live 5 minutes away from the entrance to Mount Evans, the road that goes up Mount Evans. Where I work, I actually work about 5 minutes away from the other entrance, the other side of the mountain to Mount Evans, which a lot of people don't know this, but Mount Evans is the highest paved road in the country. Not the city, not the county, not the state, the country. This is, and that's where I'm going up right now. And I figure, once I get closer to the top, I will take the camera and show you the mountain range. But that's one of the best things about living where I live is just the views. It's just incredible. I'll let it speak for itself once we get up there. But curves are a little tight, and people don't like to stay on their side of the road, and there's bicyclists that actually ride up this hill. I mean, I can't even comprehend. The triple bypass, that's what it's called. These people come from all over the world to ride in this bike ride, and the first thing they do is they ride to the top of Mount Evans and ride down the other side. It takes an hour and 20 minutes to drive up and down the other side. Oh my God. Can you imagine riding your bike up something like that? Up the highest paved road in the country? Just wow. I mean, I hate it when there's bicyclists in the road, but mad props to those guys, because I would die on my bicycle halfway to the starting point. Getting through the stoplight intersection that goes up Mount Evans is beyond my capabilities. I mean, I like to think I'm not that out of shape. I'm just not completely in shape either. But anyway, so I figured I would go up there, show you guys the scenes while I'm driving up to a good spot to show you. Bonus rant of the week, and a lot of you guys already know my hatred of this, is the boxes. So many reviewers show off the boxes. I mean, it gets ridiculous. And it's like, again, it's like I'm a collector. I care about the boxes, mostly as long as they do their job of keeping the figure in good condition until it gets to me, so I can tear it out of the box and throw the box away. It irritates me when, I'm not going to name any names, but, a particular big reviewer, he goes off, shows every angle of the box, he talks about the box, he reads off all the stuff on the box, and it's like, I can read too. If I decide I want to get this and I get the box, I can read that at that point. I don't need you to read it to me like I'm an infant. I don't care about the bio on the box. It's not something that's like, ooh, I really want to know more about this character. That's what TF Wiki's for. or buying the figure and reading the box. Half the time I don't even read the bio on the box, and I'm surprised when I do watch a video and they're like, oh yeah, this is what it says on the box, and it's like, really? Huh, I guess I didn't even notice that. And it's just one of those things. I was watching one video the other day, and you know, these guys do such a good job on their videos going over everything once they get to the figure, and that's why I watch them religiously. Just the box portion of it irritates me. But this one video I watched the other day, where the video is about 20 minutes long, and they spend about, I'd say 12, maybe 15 minutes on the packaging. I'm like, oh my god, get to the fucking figure. I really don't give a shit about the box. Not to the point where it's going to take up more than half of the video. The video really needs to focus on the figure that we're reviewing, not the packaging that it comes in. And that's just a huge pet peeve of mine when I'm watching other reviewers. I'm not saying I'm the best reviewer in the world, not by any means whatsoever. I mean, I like to think I do a decent job. You know, I got 202 subscribers now, so, you know, awesome. You know, I'm very happy that I have 202 subscribers. You know, I don't have 100,000 or near 200,000 like some of these people have. I mean, I would love it, and then it would pay for this hobby. So if anybody can get me a whole bunch of subscribers, hit me up. Keep my channel going. Anyway, but I mean, it's just ridiculous sometimes. It's like, I mean, wow, it's 15 minutes on a package. That's why, you know, I said, you know, a lot of times you guys would probably know my already hatred of that is because in my videos, when I show off the packaging, I kind of mock them, like, oh, here's the package, oh, here's a box, and then throw it. I mean, seriously, that's what I think of the packaging. It's something to throw away. One more thing to throw away. The other day I went through my room and threw away all my empty Transformer boxes, and it took up 4 trash bags. I can't imagine being one of those people that store all that, because, I mean, that's 4 trash bags, those big hefty bags, full of garbage, or full of these boxes. I mean, that was like a quarter of the stuff in my room. Oh, man. So yeah, like I said, I can't imagine storing all those boxes. You know, that's why whenever I give something away or I sell something, most of the time it's without the packaging, because I throw the packaging away so quickly. So, anyway. Second question of the day is, what do you guys think of the packaging portion of some reviews? I mean, like I said, I mean, if they show off the packaging and it's, you know, brief and it's like, okay, here's what the package looks like. I like the image, you know, I like this part of it. I like the fact that it's a shoebox design, like the Unique Toys Galvatron figure. You know, a lot of people really like that box. It's like, you know, that's a great box. Don't get me wrong, I like that box. But it's not important enough to focus, you know, more than half of the video on that box. So that's my question of the day. What do you guys think? Do you guys want me to focus on the packaging? Because if that's what the general consensus is, I will do that, without a doubt. All the leaves are changing colors. You know, 1 week ago, all the leaves were green. Now they're all yellow. I mean, it changed that quick. And most of them are already bare, actually. Anyway, so I'm going to pause the video, and then as soon as I get to a good place to show off the mountain range, I know of one good place on the other side that I'm going to show off. I just can't remember where to pull off on this side too. But I'm gonna try and do both. So, bear with me. Hopefully you guys, hopefully I can get something good for you guys. It's a clear day, so it's not gonna rain. I'm not afraid of ruining my camera. So, anyway. Okay, so it was pretty difficult to find a spot. So hopefully this is a good one. A lot of people up here today on a random Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon, near the end of September. But like I said, I think I've found one. And yeah, show this off real quick. Just gotta walk to the spot. It's definitely a good little walk here in the middle of Mount Evans. Lots of traffic going around right now. But here's a mountain range for you. You can see all the mountains in the background and just on and on. Yeah, pretty impressive. I really like it. This is why, like I said, this is why I like living in Colorado. It's just, you can't top the view. So yeah, and I'm not even done with the mountain here. I'm about 3/4 of the way done, I think. But yeah, just zoom in here and let that focus. Yeah, really nice mountain range here. So, and it just keeps going too. Those are places that people probably have never set foot on. Some of these places up here. So, and yeah, like I said, I'm not even going up to the top of Mount Evans. I'm just driving the road around it. It's actually closed for the season. Otherwise, I would go to the top. But yeah, I'll pause this again and then see if I can get another view from another angle in a few minutes. Alright, so I found a spot on the other side. Hopefully it'll give you some good views. It's a good walk though. So yeah, I'll take a look at this. It just goes on forever. And just non-stop traffic up here today. That's why I'm having a hard time finding parts apart. The leaf watchers are all out. So yeah, hopefully this is all coming across the camera very well. The sun's like blaring on the screen behind me, so it's kind of hard to know what you guys are seeing, but yeah. So yeah, like I said, really great views. I really like it. So I guess that's it for the day. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I guess third question of the day. Wow, that's really zoomed in. Zoom out. Third question of the day is going to definitely be, what do you guys think? Do you like videos like this where I'm showing off things other than Transformers, or want me to stick to my little room. Go back to your room, John. Right? Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. It's a long drive, so I'll let you go so I can cruise around and listen to music and stuff. It's a nice, relaxing drive, actually, as long as you're not trying to hold the camera and constantly trying to look for a place to pull over. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm more than happy to do more videos like this, where every now and then I just show you, you know, what's around. But yeah, guess I'll get back on the road then. And in case you guys are wondering what the road looks like while I'm driving, so yeah, again, always got some great mountain views going on here. Other cars, you know, it just goes on and on. Just one of my personal favorite roads I've ever driven in my life. I mean, you can just see all the trees. It's, you know, yeah, there's a lot of traffic going up here today. Usually, and I think that's mostly because it's leaf season and getting near the end of summer. You know, usually it's busy like this around this time of year. Usually it's busy at the beginning of the season, you know, when the road first opens and stuff. But in the middle of it, it's usually pretty empty. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Again, there's the mountain ranges. I'm trying to show them off best I can. But this is actually really, really stupid of me to try and drive while holding the camera, because I don't have a dashboard cam, so this is just me holding the camera as I'm driving. So I'm gonna just turn this off now, because otherwise I'm gonna probably die and not be able to get you more reviews.